Welcome back to Timberborn. I'm starting a new series based on a challenge that I devised with my viewers, which is we're going to try to build a town in the Diorama map. The reason the Diorama map is so particularly challenging is because it's so small. It's very tightly constrained. There's only one river, and the river, instead of like stepping down slowly over time, it actually falls from a great height, which makes it much more difficult to establish reservoirs. So in advance of taking on this challenge, I actually did some practice in the waterfalls map, which has some things in common with Diorama. It's not nearly as small, though it is one of the medium-sized maps, and it has a similar, the water comes from here, even though we're in the middle of a drought right now, so you can't see where the water comes from easily, but the water comes from here. Most of its height loss happens over here far from town, and then there's just a wide, flat river going in front of the town. Now, it's a wide, flat river, which makes it you think it's going to be lazy and slow, but it's not. The amount of water moving through this river is actually prodigious. Any less than 5 floodgates results in a backup that spills water all over the place, which was actually a fun adventure for me as I was figuring out how to do this. But there are a few skills that I needed to learn. And so I just wanted to highlight what I'm coming into this challenge with. The first thing is the Iron Teeth. They are the more urban of the two factions, meaning that a lot of their stuff is designed to be stacked on top of itself. You'll see that their log storage over here, it actually has a flat top that you can stack on, which the other... I actually forgot the name of the other faction. The original faction, the first faction, doesn't let you stack things on top of their log piles. Similarly, they have much more, by default, more dense habitation buildings, which you can stack on top of each other. And so it really actually kind of highlights an interesting, not very intuitive fact about city design, which is that people often depict very urban cities with all of their concrete and their tall buildings and stuff like that as being very unenvironmentally friendly, very anti-nature, as being sort of the antithesis of nature. But actually, and this is well illustrated by playing the Iron Teeth in this game, when you can pack more people closely together and stack them up, that means that you actually have a lot more open land that you can devote to nature. And so you'll see here, I actually have way more room for berry bushes, more room for fields and orchards, because I've been building vertically. Whereas if I'd been playing the other faction and not building not committing myself to building so vertically, all of these buildings would have to be scattered all over this territory. It would be much more difficult for me to maintain sort of a lush hinterland like this. All of this territory would have to be claimed by buildings, and then I'd have to be, trying to find ways to water some of these back areas in order to make room for plants and things like that. So that's one thing that I've learned. And a really important ingredient of this is I've actually learned much better techniques for building staircases up to very tall buildings. So one misunderstanding that I had of the game for a long time was I thought you could not build above staircases, because this is what I would try. I would try to grab the single story platform, and it's something you can build on top of a flat platform, but I would get over a staircase and I would assume that it would try to build at the top level of the staircase. And so it doesn't work, and I'm like, oh, I can't build above staircases. And so I would end up coming up with these convoluted sort of building patterns where I would just be avoiding, like the plague, ever building on top of a staircase. Turns out I just misunderstood something very simple. You just need a 2-story platform, because it's building from the bottom of the staircase, not the top of the staircase. And once I realized that, I was like, oh, obviously, this makes so much more sense. And so, yeah, you absolutely can build staircases on top of each other, which lets me condense the sort of the paths that I've got here. And so I was able to build these much denser sort of habitation and storage zones over here. And I've got some over on this in my second district over here as well, because you can see I experimented with a lot of different ways to make the staircases work. Like I've got these, staircase, this very long bent staircase over here, which is just staircases on top of staircases. I've got something kind of similar here, but it alternates. It goes left and right, left and right, left and right to sort of save space. This one has 2 alternating staircases. So I've got a lot of sort of practice under my belt making tall buildings and staircases work. The other big experiment that I ran here. Oh, by the way, I should catch up with the chat just a little bit. Travi says that is looking like the neighborhood known as the Stacks in the movie Ready Player One. Absolutely. I mean, it is a little bit like that. It's got that sort of vibe to it. So it does still feel a little bit dystopian, but because literally every beaver in this town lives in this one tower. It actually kind of reminds me a little bit too of the Judge Dredd movie, the recent Judge Dredd movie. Because I mean, I don't know what it's like to live in this place. It's probably people on top of people. Anyway, the other thing that I tried was, so this was a wide, flat, lazy river. And so during a drought, it would dry completely up. All of my farmland would dry out. I would lose crops. I would lose, access to my water pumps. So the first thing I did was the same thing we did last time in Cogstown, which was build a giant reservoir, a giant elevated reservoir next to the river so that I could dump water out into it as needed. So I spent ages building this thing. But then after I built this, I remembered that the other solution I needed in Cogstown was deepening the channel of the river. And that's actually what made the river last long enough that I wouldn't need to constantly replenish it from a reservoir. So after I built this reservoir, which I think is still really valuable, I realized that I could deepen the channel of the river not by using explosives to dig it deeper, but rather by building up the edges of it. So you can see this water is actually half a tile above the ground because I've built levees all along the river up to the point where I added a floodgate over here. And so what this does is this actually triples the depth of the water because water will only, if you set up a dam or a floodgate to sort of let the water flow out, that means that the water stops halfway up the tile that it's in. So if it's only one tile deep, it's only a 0.5 tiles. If the channel is 1 tile deep, the water is only 0.5 tiles deep. But if the channel is 2 tiles deep, then it's 1.5 tiles deep, 3 times the depth. And so once I elevated the river, which was a chore, I was able to I can pump this much water out of it throughout an entire drought, and it never dries up. It goes down a little bit further, and so you'll get a little bit of loss of water around the edges, but not much. And once I had it up above the basic ground level, I was able to build channels like this, aqueducts, basically. So now I've got this whole area surrounded by water because I was able to sort of, snake it around. Similarly, I was able to fill this natural lake and turn it into sort of a big artificial lake I didn't have to cut a channel with explosives at all. I just built an aqueduct to it, which is what allowed me to sort of make this thriving, self-sufficient mining district over here. So so I learned about building vertically. I learned about elevating my my water source, and ultimately this I consider this to be very successful. I'm very proud of this. There's more building that I could do. I haven't paid any attention to the monuments, for instance. So there's a lot of stuff I could still build here, but I kind of consider this to be a successful colony. So now it's time to see if I can do this in a much harder setting. So my goal is to go into the diorama map, which is much more physically constrained than this one. It has a lot less water coming in because the water, like I said, this one it had a low, flat, lazy-looking river, but there is actually a torrent of water moving through this thing. There's tons and tons of water that comes through here. You can just see the sheer number of spring tiles here generating it. So it's a lot less water, it's a lot less space, but I'm going to set the same goals that I had for this much larger community on a much larger map, which is that I want to get to the technology level where my factories are being run by engines. These are sort of late game iron teeth only facilities that they basically burn logs in order to create a prodigious amount of mechanical energy. And actually, I didn't build this the cleverest way because I over-engineered it because I kind of forgot that buildings actually share mechanical energy when they're next to each other. And so I built this entire series of power shafts and things like that. This is unnecessary. Once I got the power to this building, it shares power with the 2 buildings that are next to it. I didn't need to build all of this. So bearing that in mind, I could probably make it more compact in the future. But all of these little, wheels of pain that I'm using, these are actually unnecessary now. I'm still making the beavers walk in there because they deserve it. But it's, these engines are actually, they're creating enough power to basically power pretty much this whole thing. I think that maybe I would need one of these to keep it maximum power. Maybe I need actually just one of these Wheels of Pain. But otherwise, we're doing really, really well. Let's see here. Okay, so I think we've seen enough of this map. So let's go back to the main menu and let's start our diorama. And we have already decided what the name of this town is going to be. The Folk Tales. That was the name of the other beaver faction. So we're going to go Iron Teeth because they can do so much vertical stacking, and because our goal is to create a technologically advanced engine-run society, which is something that the Iron Teeth specialize in. So we'll grab the Iron Teeth, and then we're going to grab Diorama, which is 50 by 50. The map you just looked at, Waterfalls, is 128 by 128. So 50 by 50 is less than a quarter the size. And it's going to be a challenge. So let's open this up. Normal difficulty because, whatever, I'm not psycho. I've just never tried the higher difficulties. I don't know what they do. I assume they make the droughts worse and stuff. We've already agreed to the name of this town. This is Beaverly Hills. So, let's... Wait, not like that. Let's pause time and let's assess this map. So, as you can see, it's tiny. It's tiny, and it's got some early access to wood, but it's really far away. The natural staircase over here is super far away, and so we can't build a more convenient staircase up to these original sources of wood until we've built some technology. So we're probably going to be chopping down this forest pretty early on. Because there's just so little room here, it's going to be really easy to just run ourselves out of wood very early on. We'll need to get a forester up and running as soon as we can, which means we're going to need science, and we're going to need a lumber mill really, really soon. This waterfall, this is the only elevation that the water gets, except for, like, there's one little step down right here. So basically, I could build a dam over here someplace to capture this water short term. But if I want to actually, like, survive longer droughts, this water is going to go away almost instantaneously. I'm going to need to use a combination, probably, of building up the shoreline with levees to sort of turn this into a deeper channel. But also, I might need to make either, like, a single reservoir or maybe even, like, a stepped series of reservoirs. Because, the tallest you can make a floodgate is three tiles tall. And so, I couldn't just make a reservoir out of this entire waterfall. Like, I would have to make multiple levels to it. And so I'm not actually sure which of those I want to do first. I think that building both sides of this entire river, that'll take a fair amount of levees. I guess I could use this ridge over here as one of the walls and just build levees on the near side and levees here to sort of extend the river. That's a lot of levees. I might be able to get some more short-term gains out of building a reservoir at the back end first and then building overall levees to elevate the level of the water. So, okay, I think I've got a rough idea of the strategy I intend to follow. And so now the question is, I guess actually, so the first question I have is, how am I going to get wood? So let's see how far my paths will reach. So let's build paths out here to those stairs. And then let's build more paths back in the same direction. Okay, it doesn't start getting red until the very end of that. So that's good. It means that I can sort of chop down these upper trees if I need to. They'll take some time to do that, but I can reach them. They're not out of reach right now, so that's good. So how many beavers have we got? It looks like we have got 7 beavers who can work. We've got 4 babies, and so that means we're going to need to build like at least, I think, 2 apartment complexes to start. So we need to build 2 apartment complexes. We need to build water pumps, and I always forget water pumps early on. I usually end up with thirsty beavers. Water pumps are actually my first priority. Gatherers, of course, to get our initial food supply going, and then a couple of apartment buildings for them to live in, and then we're going to need them to be chopping wood in the meantime. So we've got 7 beavers who can work. So let's figure out how we want to apportion that work. So let's start with a couple of gatherers. Gatherers right here. Okay, we'll put a couple of gatherers right next to the house. I'm not expecting that to last just because, you know, this is the middle of town. One thing I should consider, though, is this upper level, this is probably where I should try to do most of my building because it's not arable land. Arable land is so precious on this map. Like, I need to hold on to all of this land down here that I possibly can. So I'm thinking that anything that I know is big and bulky, I should try to build up here. It's going to be inconvenient up front, though, because I've got so few beavers, not a lot of guys that can just run around and haul things. So building anything up here, I guess basically if I'm going to build wood stuff up, like wood chopping stuff up here, I should probably build my entire wood economy up here so things are easy to move around without having to come down here to where the food is. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So, all right. First off, though, water. Water, water, water. Let's not forget water. So let's just build a nice straight path out here. And let's build a water pump to start. How do water pumps work? Like this. So we'll build a water pump right there. And actually that position is unnecessary. So let's do that. Actually, you know what? Yeah, whatever. I think I'm going to want another water pump here. Well, no, I'll probably eventually want a bridge here eventually. So that's what that's for. That's what that open space is for. Let's actually leave that there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is build a water pump. Oh, wait, we don't have any trees. So let's send some beavers to go and chop some trees down. Nobody's working because nobody has anything to work with. So so a couple of lumberjacks there are going to be able to chop down trees. So that is 5 workers combined with these 2 workers at the base. Okay, so why are they not going over here? Hey guys. Why is no one constructing this? Thank you, you 2, for oh, just you? You're the only one? Oh, I know why. It's because there's only 2 beavers assigned to building. Now I've got 4 beavers assigned to building, and so they'll build this stuff much faster. Though I'm going to have to pull those beavers out of the house when it's time for them to start doing other jobs. So we need a place. We're going to start chopping wood. We need a place to keep our wood. And so let's put our first wood storage. I'm trying to think, what will be the most attractive place for it? That doesn't actually matter. I've got no space. So we're going to put it in the one place we can put it, which is right here. I also need to mark all of these dead trees up here as being choppable. Let's chop everything up here. So we're going to start by clearing a bunch of land up here that we can use as sort of our places to settle. And then the other thing I got to figure out is where these beavers are going to live. So while we are collecting wood and getting ready to build this thing, which will take 12 logs. Actually, you know what I should do? I should make sure that the first places that they clear are the places I want to build. So let's actually say don't do all of this. Just clear out this area because this is where beavers are going to live. As soon as I can, I'm going to build a staircase right here to give them access to this area. So I don't think it's going to be a huge problem that there's a little bit of a long path here in the community. So let's speed things up. Chop down these trees. Let's keep an eye on this, though, because these guys are going to start idling as soon as they've chopped down all of these trees. One thing we don't have right now is food storage, actually. And I'm thinking that it might make sense, if my hinterland is down here, it might make sense to try to put food storage in a place that'll be easy to reach. And so I'm thinking that eventually I am going to have staircases over here. So I'm thinking right here is where I'm going to build my food storage. Just barely up the ridge from where the food is. It's going to take a while to get the food there initially. It's going to be kind of slow, but eventually it'll be really convenient and not take up arable land. That's not going to be a good spot, though, because I can't yet build staircases. So let's just do that. So this is going to be a storage place for berries. This is going to be a storage place for logs. And now my tree choppers, now that they've cleared out that initial area, they need the rest of their territory marked, so I'll give them that back. Okay, and so we don't have a tree chopper, so let's take away a couple of these jobs here. Okay, so now we've got... Oh, everyone's thirsty, but we do have water here, but we don't have water storage. So that's actually going to be a very high priority. I'm planning, I think, on building our apartment complex right here. And so we want to have the water be fairly close to where people live. So let's actually make one of these be very high priority. This is the first thing we need to build. So all of you builders... So right now, they can come straight to... Like, there's an internal storage here that the person manning the water pump fills up to 15 as fast as he can. And then the beavers can get their water straight from there. But that's not enough. So we'll build water storage up here. And then after we've got storage for all of our stuff, that's when we're going to come up with beaver storage. Though I guess I can decide where I want that now while they're working. I'll just make it lower priority than the other stuff. So, first apartment complex goes right there. And we actually need 2 initially. And so the question is, do I want to build 2 towers or do I want to just build the 1 tower? I mean, sorry, do I want to try to build it vertically? Thing is, I can't build it vertically yet because I don't have the technology to build it vertically yet. So for right now, I think this is actually why my initial apartment complex was actually 2 towers thick. It's because at the very beginning, I had to build horizontally because I didn't have the technology to build stairs. So let's have both of these be lower priority than storage. So everyone's going to finish building their storage. And then, so okay, we now have 8 adult beavers. We got 3 baby beavers, but we're going to need more adults than this. Which means we're going to need to start getting into one of the weirder aspects of playing an Iron Teeth game, which is that they breed completely differently from the folktales. So if you remember the folktales, all you have to do is create open space in a residential building, and they will come up with babies the natural way. Without going into a lot of detail, they're going to start having some babies on their own. But in... the Iron Teeth don't do that. They are not into that sort of thing. And so what they do instead is grow babies in vats. And so I'm going to build one of these baby vats. That's an interesting thing because while the folktales have a very stable population, because basically those beavers, they will only breed when there is space for them. And then they will stop when they fill up the space. However, because the Iron Teeth breeding process is completely divorced from available housing, that means that rather than just filling the available space that you've given them, they will breed out of control. If you're not paying attention to how fast new beavers are being added to your community, they will just breed and breed and breed, and you'll get an overpopulated mess. And so you have to pay a lot of attention with the Iron Teeth to how many beavers there are and how many are coming in. And it's hard because, beavers, they are born and die at kind of erratic rates. So it's hard to, assess how quickly they're actually breeding. So it's easy to make mistakes. You have to, constantly be checking in with these beavers on how the breeding is going. So, okay, so we're going to try to get to the point where we've got all the basics. Oh, wait. All the basics will definitely include more food than this. Holy crap. We're getting behind on the food. So let's build a farmhouse. And I think I got to be okay with having a farmhouse take up some arable land. Let's build a farmhouse. And let's devote some land to carrots. So it's entirely possible these beavers are going to be very hungry. We got 55 berries in here, and actually 149 food total being stored somewhere. I guess some of it is here. We got a fair amount of food, but we really need to get production going because, yeah, we've just exhausted our berry bushes. They do come... Oh, there's some more over here. They do come back over time. But getting over here is going to be tough. They do come back over time, the berry bushes, but it's over a long period of time. Carrots are much faster, I think, at coming back. So you need to get your carrot economy up and running very, very quickly. So I kind of pushed pause. By the way, the downside of these dense apartment buildings is they take a lot of logs to build. And so really, the Iron Teeth, at the beginning of the game, they often just sleep outside for a really long time. It's hard to get them to the point where they all have houses just because you need to spend those logs on other stuff. So currently we're using logs as fast as we're chopping them, which is problematic. We're going to run out of them fairly quickly. So let's mark more stuff as choppable over here. But I don't know, are these in range? They're partly in range of these guys. So at some point I'm going to have to move these guys down here to be able to reach more trees. How are we doing with our farm? Getting close. Hopefully we'll get our farm tomorrow. We are eating these berries pretty quickly. Yeah, so 72 berries in here. Where are the other 30 berries? Oh, must be like 15 in each of... No goods in stock here. Oh, there's 30 berries kept inside the house. Okay, cool. Got it. Okay, we are making a profit on water. It's slowly filling up, though we are going to want probably more water coming in. But, oh yeah, right now we have 2 unemployed beavers. Because all the children grew up. Okay, we have 2 unemployed beavers, even though we're staffing the farmhouse. So that's cool. That means that we can afford to start pumping more water out again. So let's get a second water pump going. And some more water storage, too. We'll start making more of a profit on water, which means we want to store that water that we get. And how's the breeding pod going? Oh, we're halfway to another beaver. Okay, so now they're spending their time building their homes. But the next thing we're going to need is a forester to replenish this wood. But before the forester, we need a lumber mill. And I think we also need science. Let's have a look. Yeah, so the forester, he requires planks, which means we need a lumber mill. And he requires being invented. So we need science. So while we still have trees, honestly, I think we might need to delay this a little bit. So let's build this one, but let's delay this one a little longer because that's a lot of logs and we just don't have very many. So let's build the inventor right here, I guess, or here. Let's do it here. It just looks nice. I don't know. Let's build this inventor right there so he can invent the forester. And then I think we already have the technology to build a lumber mill. So the lumber mill needs to go up here. So I think I like the idea of the lumber mill being close to where the logs are stored. So we could put it straight back here if we want to. We also need room for it to be, for it to carry, mechanical energy. I could put it, it slots in nicely right here, but I also might want to put more breeding pods near that breeding pod. So I could also put it here, I guess. It's kind of far away from everything, but that'll be fixed as soon as I can build stairs. So, yeah, deciding where to put stuff is not the most exciting thing to watch me do. I'm going to put that right there. And then we need to power it, so we're going to put a wheel of pain next to it. And this. And it's got some nice convenient storage space next to it where I can store the planks that it makes. So this is going to be for storing planks. Okay, so now we have built our first apartment complex, which means we have raised our happiness of our beavers, but we're going to delay building the second one. So some of these beavers, one of the beavers is still sleeping outside, and this new beaver who shows up will also sleep outside. But there's only a couple of beavers who are unhappy. We'll have to, ask them to suck it up for a little bit while we build our industry. We're down to 42 food. We're halfway to having carrots. This is making me a little nervous. You know what we haven't built? We haven't built storage for carrots. That's going to be a problem. Of course, initially I think they're going to eat they're going to be pretty hungry by the time the carrots show up. So I think they might. Oh, by the way, I need to reserve where I want to put those stairs. So I'm going to say the stairs are going to go here when I add them. But yeah, I think we're going to need to decide where our carrot storage is. Ideally, it would be really close to get to from the farmhouse, and so I think long-term this won't be easy to get to, but short-term, something like this? I don't like... I think something like this might work. I'm just thinking of all the different places I could stick stairs and things in the future as I stack this stuff up. So this is going to be where I keep carrots. Initially, it's going to be an annoying disaster. Let's build that as fast as we can. Okay, and it looks like we're actually running out of logs. So let's move our lumberjacks. So our lumberjacks are now going to be down here. And we're just going to get rid of these because they can't... You see this little blue outline? They can't reach the trees anymore. So we're going to delete these ones and replace them with these ones. Build these fast. Come on, build the other one, you jerks. Oh, wait, it's nighttime. Fine, you get a rest. You get a rest. It's okay. See you later, La Coalición. All right. So this thing, it's got somebody working at it, but doesn't matter because there's nobody powering it. Oh, this takes 40 logs? Ah, it's so expensive just to get this initial technology up and running. Okay, so yeah, so we are definitely building up water. That's good. Oh, our baby beaver came out. So we now have a baby beaver that came out of that breeding pod. Good. I could add more breeding pods to accelerate the growth of my population, but... Oh, here we go. Everyone's starving, but I just noticed well-being is down because everyone's hungry, but we just started the carrot harvest. So hopefully we'll be able to get ahead of our hunger. Let me add some more carrot fields for the next planting season, because this is the only source of food. This is going to be the only source of food for a little while. We got to make sure that we're maximizing our ability to grow it. So let's see how many carrots. It looks so the carrots just started blooming today. I don't know if we're actually making enough carrots to feed these people. We can only store carrots in here right now because we haven't finished this yet. And so I think we might need to raise the importance of this thing. How's our science doing? 27? Can we build the forester yet? 60. Okay, at 60 science we can build the forester. Okay, so luckily they are eating them out, eating carrots out of here as fast as we're putting them in. Which means that actually the need for storage is lower when they're just, you know, basically hand to mouth. But that's not actually a good way to run a colony. So hopefully we can get this up and running. We can start. I don't know if this single farmhouse is going to be enough. We might need 2 farmhouses to move fast enough to get this harvest in to feed these beavers. Yeah, people are still getting hungry. Not as many as before, but yeah, everybody's hungry. Because I just don't know if I can afford the logs to build another one of these. It doesn't, yeah, it feels like they're not grabbing a lot. Okay, I think I might want to build a second farmhouse just to be safe. So eventually I might find better places for these farmhouses. This is not getting any logs. Why? Oh, because I maximize the importance of this. Let's make that a little less important. Let's make this the most important. And let's make this medium important. And we'll build up everything eventually, but Okay, we're not starved. Okay, we actually ended that day with... Okay, we ended that day with a little bit more food than we started it with. But the thing I don't know is, after we harvest all of these... Oh, no, now it's a drought. Fun! Okay, do we have enough water storage? I don't know that we do. We might end up getting real thirsty. So once we exhaust these carrots, okay, these are halfway, these are 2 days away. So if this is 2 days of carrot harvest at the rate we've been going, then these will kick in right afterwards, and we'll have continuous cycling carrot harvests. Oh, and these original ones are also going to go at the same time. So, okay, I think we might have the right number of carrots and enough beavers to manage them, which means I don't need to finish this really fast. Oh, what's this guy's problem? Broken teeth. Of course he has broken teeth. Okay, well, we're going to need to do something about that, aren't we? So let's 5 logs to make a beaver happier and more effective. It seems worth it, I guess. I guess you can fix your stupid broken teeth. So we got folks in the chat talking about State of Decay bounties because on his way out, La Coalición made a poll about finding out what people's favorite bounty pack was. It looks like the Trifecta pack is the one that's getting the most votes, which makes sense. Parker is saying that in State of Decay 2, he really likes the what was it, the 1 pound 7 slot backpacks you get from the Trifecta pack. Which so I think the Trifecta pack really was sort of a labor of love by the artists, the weapon artists, and that whole team that usually builds a lot of the stuff for the bounty pack. They there wasn't any sort of external pressure for what that should be. The whole idea of doing a Trifecta pack came from Mark Lautenbach, one of the artists, and yeah, that really is a labor of love from them. And so I'm not surprised it's a favorite. Okay, I feel like these beavers are not building anything in particular. Is anything making any progress? Is this making progress? Is that making progress? Have I messed something up? We still have trees. Okay, I think we need to get good at something. We need to... Okay, we are feeding ourselves just barely, so I think the priority has to be this. If I need to, I can get these trees up here and these trees up here, but that'll be a long trek. I think at some point the beaver's appetite to walk that far goes away. So we need to finish this thing so that we can get planks. And once we get planks, we can get the forester out here, and the forester can give us sustainable access to wood. So where are we storing all of these? Oh, wait, it's not just carrots. It's also berries. We got 50 berries and 50 carrots. So we got 100 food. So we're doing okay food-wise. However, the carrots are all going to dry up during the drought. I don't have a dam of any kind. So I don't know if we're going to lose the carrots permanently. Like they're going to die, or if this is going to be a short enough drought that they'll survive the drought and just start. It will have a delay in the harvest, but they'll come roaring back. Okay, it looks like it's going to be a 2-day drought. And they're going to... Okay, so they die in different amounts of time. So some of these carrots are going to die. And some of them are not. We're going to harvest a bunch in the meantime. And seriously, what? Where are we chopping trees down? What's going on? Where are the logs going? So there's no logs here, no logs here. 14 logs here. Okay, so this one is almost built. A little late. Looks like we've got one job that's understaffed. I don't know which job it is. Oh, we're not chopping trees down very fast. Well, you know, this guy doesn't need to work here. Okay, that was our problem. I built these 2 lumberjacks, but one of the lumberjacks actually went to go work here instead. We do have enough science for a forester now. So let's unlock the forester. And let's stick the forester in a place where he can reach all of these trees, but isn't taking up arable land. And I think that place is like here. So let's make a path to this. Okay, and now we're making planks-ish. Well, we're not, but we could be making planks. Whose job do I take away to do this? We definitely need someone working here as soon as possible. But which job do I need to not do? So I actually have to put someone in this job to make the planks to build the forester. So I guess we'll start by taking someone away from here. And I guess we're going to need our food, guys. Yeah, this is the problem. Like, I deliberately constrained the growth of my population so that I wouldn't have to pay, like, food for too many guys for too long. Okay, good. Drought's over. Some of the carrots survived. We're replanting the rest of them. We've still got some carrots to live on. That's good. I think I might need to add a breeding pod, though. I think the breeding pods are a necessary evil. Okay, so we're building up planks now. How many do we need to build this? 7. We need 7 planks. Once we have 7 planks, I might actually take a break from this just to build the forester and to staff the forester. How close are we to having stairs? 61 out of 70. We're close to having stairs. That'll make this place more efficient once we get stairs. I think we've got enough food to last. Okay, so there are currently 2 jobs not being done, but I've just canceled. Why did I do that? No, I didn't want to do that yet. I want to do that after we have 7. We've got 5 planks right now. Oh, wait, no, we've already stocked the planks in here. So never mind. We can actually stop building planks right now. Actually, I don't want to deprioritize it. What I want to do is pause it. Let's pause making planks for just a second. Let's grab this. And we can build 1 staircase with the planks we have, I think. So we'll build that 1 staircase, make this whole thing more efficient. And then let's make building the forester be our top priority. What has been our top priority? What's been getting the logs? I guess 1 log to this isn't a waste of top priority. Okay, logs have been going to the new farmhouse. Okay, that's fine. I don't mind that. I think I'll probably understaff this place initially. In fact, let's say, because I think these farmers have been keeping up with demand, I'm gonna have this here for when we start growing, but I'm actually not gonna staff it very thoroughly at first. Okay, we building the staircase yet? We only have the 1 builder, unfortunately. Okay, who changes jobs to do this? Oh, you know what? I don't need these guys to be working here. Let's pause the gatherer flags until... The berries are my backup food, and we don't need them just sitting there haunting this place. Okay, so we're building more water storage because the next drought's probably going to be longer, and right now water storage is my only plan for droughts. We do have a beaver working here, but, we haven't marked out places for him to grow trees. So let's start with a little bit of birch, just to make sure we can bridge the gap as our pines are growing. But then let's build mostly pines. And eventually, I'd like to convert this whole thing to maples, because maples ultimately are the most efficient tree. They just take some time to build up, and so I like to slowly transition my pines into maples. Hey, Cosmic just showed up. Cosmic loves the beaver game. Okay, so now we've got our stairs now, and so now all of these paths are green instead of turning red, which is nice. This is going to be storing water. We're building up our water supply. That's good. And, okay, we now have 2 unemployed beavers. So let's unpause our planks. Oh, yay! Our beaver can now grind his teeth. Okay, this is actually getting somewhere now. I feel like we kind of are getting over the initial hump. The main thing we're missing, actually, at this stage is a dam. I think we need a dam in order to be more resilient during the whatever. So let's actually not plant trees along here. Let's do that. And actually, let's, even though it's wasteful, let's uproot this tree. Oh, wait, no, it's just going to get chopped. Never mind, don't uproot it. Can't cancel that job. How do I undemolish something like this? No, I think you should actually just normally chop it down and get wood now that it's big. Okay, great. Now, let's build a path out to here. And then let's build a dam. I think once we get this first dam, we'll have the basics. And then it'll be a good time for us to figure out the next episode. So what is the right way to do this exactly? This way, I guess? Try that? I don't know. It's not the most obvious thing here. It doesn't look great. Trying to go across a diagonal channel like this doesn't look all that great. But once we start trying to build this thing up, we can make it look however we want. So, whatever. It's fine for now. So Cosmic asks, would I pay $250 to always get a good sleep and never have back pain? I don't frequently have back pain as it is, so that isn't really worth a lot of money to me at the moment. Always getting good sleep sounds great, but that's just a time trade-off. The reason I don't get good sleep is because I can't stand to be giving up a part of my life for not being conscious. So I don't know if I would make that deal, especially if you mean, I don't know if you mean $250 one time, and just, if it was $250 one time, and the minimal amount of sleep I get counts as getting a full night's sleep, and I never have back pain ever in my life, sure, I would definitely pay that. I don't know if you mean, it's a weird question. It feels like you're about to sell me a pill or something, though, so I'm nervous about saying yes. Okay, so because the drought made us plant all of the carrots at once, they're all suddenly popping up. But that's okay. Let's see. Oh, we've got no builders now. Okay, well, that's a problem. How are we doing on planks? We only got 4 planks. We really only have 4 planks? We only got 4 planks. Why is this guy just... Oh, he can't get logs. Oh, we're out of logs. So nothing works. Okay, let's chop down this lower rank of trees here. I'm assuming that these guys can reach. They can't reach all the way. Okay, so we're actually going to need to put them closer. So let's kill that, and let's make some lumberjacks here. No, what am I doing? Don't put him right next to the freaking stairs. He might block the stairs. That's not cool. Let's put the other one right there instead. Okay, so let's swap out our 2 lumberjacks. Put them down there. And then, okay, one of them became a builder. Do we have any other jobs that are, like, non-essential? I mean, I guess, okay, I'd like to at least get the ability to build platforms. So I don't want to cancel my science quite yet. So I've got 1 builder, 1 lumberjack. That's not enough. we are filling our water regularly. So maybe I can actually cancel. I'll delay one of my water pumps. And so that'll give us 2 lumberjacks. Hopefully we'll, okay. And now we're actually finishing this breeding pod. One thing that's interesting is the folktales. So again, like the Iron Teeth look like they're going to be the anti-nature beaver society, but really they're the most pro-nature because, for one thing, you have to have berries in order to run the breeding pods, which means in order to breed, the Iron Teeth need to maintain the natural environment. They have to maintain access to berries. They can't just replace berries with other things. Whereas the folktales, they can just steamroll all the berries and go just 100% carrots and better. So yeah, so it's just it's interesting how like the aesthetic of the Iron Teeth makes you think of sort of the the big smoky anti-nature group, but actually like all the incentives around them are much more built up towards supporting nature. So average Twitch user frequently likes to pepper me with questions about State of Decay 2. And so he gets very, very frustrated when I don't notice them. So sorry about that, average Twitch user. So he was asking about the bad things that Joe Wilkerson has done. He's always described as being the worst of the Wilkersons, but there aren't a lot of specifics. And he's wondering if we ever did get specific. So, I mean, there are definitely a couple of missions that you go on where it's either shown or implied that someone is killed for not doing what Joe wants them to do. And so that by itself is, I think, plenty. I don't think you need much more than that. But like I think a lot of it is implied, partly just because A State of Decay 2 is not actually, weirdly, despite its horrific post-apocalyptic setting, is not actually a game that sort of revels in darkness and filthiness. It's not a game that sort of like says, yeah, you're gonna get to participate in all these murders, and it's not like, it's not one of those games. And so so a lot of the stuff, the darkness in the story is implied rather than directly shown, just because that's sort of the vibe the game is going for. It wants to, it does want you to grapple with dark stuff. Oh man, we've already chopped down all these trees. How close are these birch trees to being ready? Only 62%. They're days away. I'm gonna have to find another way to, I mean, can I even... I've got no logs left. Okay, I thought I had gotten past the choke point, but I think we've got one still ahead. It's like, once these trees grow up, we'll be in good shape. But there's just this little tiny bit of time here where it's going to be rough. So let's see. Can we actually get lumberjacks all the way up here? What does that look like? It's getting pretty red, but it's not a disaster. So let's set some lumberjacks up here. Let's make them top priority. Let's set these trees to be chopped. And I think I can probably, while I'm at it, make the chopping blocks down here a little bit more, a little bit more rational. I like the chopping to actually match the shape of the terrain of the growable area, rather than just sort of being random. Even though, if you mark something for chopping that can't be chopped, it just ignores it. It's not like it is a disaster. I just like it to look nice. And there's this one little spot we can grow a pine tree where I'm not. Okay, there we go. And then I guess we will pause these guys. I don't need to do much more than that. Oh, and we can grow some more trees down here, so we will. Anyway, yeah, so there's your answer, average Twitch user. Oh, so Twitch user is saying much like he's comparing that what the implication about the Wilkersons doing bad things, being racketeers and stuff like that, to the idea of Red Talon using slave labor. Yeah, so the Red Talon side is slightly different in that it's not like we're not trying to say that Red Talon as a general rule uses slave labor. Like we want both of the major, or I guess all three of the major factions, Red Talon, Network, and Echo Lab, to all be reasonable factions for a player to feel a kinship to. We don't want them to be like, oh, this is the bad guy faction, this is the good guy faction. So I think that there are bad things going on. Oh, they've already exhausted these trees. There are definitely bad things going on in Red Talon territory. Absolutely. Oh, it just occurred to me, I'm turning logs into planks when I need logs. That's not a good use of my efforts. Let's not do that. Now, I don't know if the beavers will go far enough to chop these trees down. Oh, and I can... But yeah, so we're not trying to say that Red Talon universally just the way they work is they use slave labor. They definitely have some abusive practices going on in certain Red Talon locations. And that's a problem they need to solve, but it's not like Red Talon is rotten to the core that way. The same way that Joe Wilkerson, I think, was kind of rotten to the core. He was trying to do evil, selfish things for his own purposes. Whereas Red Talon, I think, is an organization that believes in some positive things, is trying to do things the right way. And there are a lot of individuals within there that are, that feel, because of the situation, they feel like they have permission to behave in terrible ways. And Red Talon needs to get that under control. But I think it's not the same thing as them being universally just 100% villains. Okay, so we have 22 planks. That is too many planks. We need to get a builder up here to build these stairs so we can reach here. Thank you. And then, I don't know. Okay, these guys, they don't reach up there yet. I think they won't reach up there. I think I need... Man, we are chopping every single possible tree. This is actually, like, getting over the hump here is extremely difficult. Because this game often has these humps where it's like, you your colony might or might not survive this moment. You might not get this resource in time to actually start accomplishing anything. You might just end up with a dead-end society. And that's entirely possible in this game. And so you have to get over each of those choke points. And once you actually get past it, like this is a longer than usual episode, because I kind of want to get to a point where I feel like my society is self-sustaining before I start moving on to like other sort of themed episodes. But man, it's taking more effort than usual to get this particular colony up and running. Peroxicus asks, does the network actually have any flaws? Because, yeah, you know what? Honestly, like, the fact that we have spent time with... Oh, okay, we can't quite reach here. Dang it. I wonder if it's just barely on the edge. Can we do something like that and make it work? Yes. Okay. We were able to just barely make it work. But yeah, so we explicitly call out a bad thing that's happening with Cami Baez. We explicitly call out a bad thing that's happening with Red Talon. We don't explicitly call out bad things happening with the network. Some of our original storylines did have that. It did have bad things happening with the network. Usually, so the idea was... my idea early on, which we didn't do, which means this is not canon. This isn't what happened. My idea early on was that, malfeasance by Red Talon community leaders was going to radicalize people like Cami Baez, and then Cami Baez was going to basically create a militant wing of the network that was vengeful and and was basically opposed to any form of peace or reconciliation with Red Talon. They were like, they can never redeem themselves, and so anything but the utter destruction of Red Talon is insufficient, which was going to be unhelpful. And so that was the direction I was thinking of taking it. We ended up not developing the faction story very far at all, and so we just didn't have the storytelling space to do that. Oh wait, okay. Drought is coming, so we're going to focus on finishing the dam. That's our top priority. Then we'll worry about other things. These are maples, which means they're giving me a lot more wood than other trees. So hopefully this will be enough to push us over the line where, yes, our birch trees are in. Okay, cool. So we've got our maples. We can bring back our birch. So can these guys reach everything? I think they kind of can. And we've got 2 unemployed beavers. So let's unpause these. Let's just start grabbing wood like crazy. Finish this dam. Okay, we got the dam finished. And I think that means we're going to start actually being in good shape. One thing we definitely still need is more population. Now that we can definitely feed these beavers, we've got enough water for these beavers, we need more of these beavers. So I've got 2 breeding pods now. Both of them are not very far along. I forgot how many days it takes to make a beaver. But we need, like, a lot of these jobs, the berry picking job needs to be done. We need to be drawing more water because we are running. Yeah, I don't know if these fill up. Let's see if these water tanks fill up over the course of the day. If they do, fine. If not, we need to put some beaver into this job. Like, I mean, you know what, these maples aren't going to last forever. I could probably delay, like, disable one of these and enable this. Let's see. So Parker says, what is your take or opinion on groups in zombie fiction that try to live alongside the undead? Depends on, I guess, on what you mean by alongside. I mean, there's stuff like, I don't know, Fido, where they try to use them as, like, servants and things like that, which is a little much. That's taking on a little bit of extra danger there. I think, so I actually do, I think my favorite solutions to zombie-type stories is reconciling with the new normal. Those are the most satisfying endings to those kinds of stories, for me. And actually, you know what? Okay, we've almost built this entire thing. I was about to say we might be able to start just building vertically now, but we'll go ahead and finish building that because we've already put some logs into it. But yeah, I tend to prefer that just because it feels more sustainable. Like I find it unconvincing, stories like that where the solution is defeat the zombies. You've cured the plague. Just because that feels unlikely, you know, right? Like, I mean, COVID-19 is going to be with us forever now. You know, we're going to get better and better at resisting it, at treating it. You know, our vaccines will get better. Our ability to predict what vaccines we need, it'll probably end up being like the flu shot. But it's not like COVID-19 is going to stop being a disease. You know, COVID-19 is going to remain a disease. It looks like we're in the drought now. It's going to be a 4-day drought, twice as long as the old one. But we've got a dam this time. I feel like we might be losing some water, though, right there. I'm not actually sure how that's working. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how these work. It makes me kind of want to... I don't know. Do something like that, maybe? Like maybe a sort of W-shaped one will look a little bit better. Maybe will work a little bit better because I'm nervous that little tiny trickle of water that I saw might actually be a genuine trickle of water, and we're actually losing water from our reservoir. Anyway, so like that's kind of how, you know, disasters and apocalypses actually work. Is you do have to end up living with the consequences, and so I prefer those kinds of solutions. The Girl Without the Gift, Girl with All the Gifts, is my favorite zombie story because the solution is basically, I mean, I don't want to tell you the exact solution, but it is a live with it sort of solution. And actually, one thing that people often, you know, when you talk about things like, you know, like using zombies as servants or something like ridiculous living alongside the zombies solutions like in Fido. Oh, hi Crowley, by the way. I didn't say hi to you. Oh, and Jawa's here. Hey, wait. Oh, Jawa raided me. Holy crap, Jawa, I'm sorry I didn't notice that at first. I just get so absorbed in what I'm doing, what I'm talking about. Hello, Jawa. Hello, Jawa's friends. It's so nice to see you all. Um, anyway, so I had a question that I was answering about whether like factions in zombie media that sort of live alongside the zombies, if there's something, if that's okay, or if there's something just weird and wrong about it. So I actually kind of like it. I like those kinds of solutions where you live alongside the zombies. And we often discount the thing I was going to say a second ago. We often discount how dangerous our lives are now. You know, just go, if you like went back in time and brought somebody from like Renaissance times and showed them a highway, they'd be like, how are you not all dead? You're all like, this isn't like some big thing, like big public work that you've built where it's managed by a bunch of experts. It's normal ass people are driving their cars at 70 miles an hour and not killing each other constantly. It would be like, well, actually, that is one of the leading causes of death is accidents on the road, but not nearly as many as they would expect there to be. Like, somebody from back then looking at now, they'd be like, well, obviously, you will all die at some point from a car wreck because it's impossible for humans to move at those speeds without making mistakes. That's just crazy. But we do it. You know, we do it because it's just our lives. Our lives require it, so we do it. And we figure out ways for it to make it as safe as possible, and we're all just constantly devoted to trying to be as safe as possible. This kind of thing, and we make it work. And it's, and so I think if we had a world with zombies in it, where just like anytime anyone died, they became a zombie, like The Walking Dead or State of Decay 2, I think people could actually find a way to build back and just live with the fact that this is a new danger we all have to deal with. And I think that people would learn the skills necessary, they'd learn the practice, they'd learn safeguards, and they could make it work. And so, yeah, so I think those scenarios are actually pretty compelling, and they're the most satisfying ones for me. So there you go. Yeah, Jawafawa agrees that adaptation is the key to surviving any situation. So no one was actually wanting to place bets on whether I would notice the raid at all. Yeah, I mean, this game is distracting. It takes a lot of attention. And also, Paroxicus asked an interesting question, so I was getting into it. Anyway, okay, we are 0.4 days away from the end of the drought. We've built all of the things we needed to build. We've got our jobs kind of nicely balanced out. We've got a couple of new beavers ready to go in just a minute. I feel like we've got a really good foundation. Once this drought is over, I think this episode is also over. And we are on our way to figuring out the rest of the problem that we've set for ourselves, which is a pretty big problem. Because even though I feel like we've gotten over the hump, the waterfall has started up again, these droughts are going to get worse, first of all. So that's the first thing. Like, these droughts are going to get more than twice as bad as the one we just survived. And in order to deal with that, we're going to need to build up more infrastructure, more technology. That means more beavers, and we're going to put more strain on the water. And we don't have very much space to do this. And we're going to have to build up a lot of industry, and we don't have a lot of space to do it in. So this is going to be interesting, to say the least. So, so the challenge is not over. The fact that we got over the initial hump does not, by any means, mean that the challenge is over. The challenge is still very much with us. But I think, I'm going to leave this guy up here. Yes, I'm going to leave these guys up here, but I'm going to let these maple trees grow first before I kick them in again, which means we have another farmer now. And yeah, I think we're good to go. See you later, Jawafawa. Thank you for bringing so many people in here. We're going to wrap up this episode, but we are going to keep streaming. So let me just double check my phone, make sure that there's nothing distracting me. Yep, nope, we're good. So let's wrap this up. Here is a subscribe button for people who are watching this later on YouTube. And I'm going to post some videos here for those YouTube people. So, they can click on those. And the next Timberborn diorama video is going to be right there.